Sips and Trips,
where we sip
and we trip over our words, our caffeine intake, and honestly over cafe floors that are not designed with clumsy people in mind. I'm Gwen.
And I'm Lydia. Today we're bringing you a very caffeinated episode because we did a 2-stop coffee adventure. 2 cafes, 2 vibes, 2 matchas, 2 completely different experiences.
And we take our responsibility to the public very seriously. So seriously that we sat outside in the cold at one of these places for the data.
Let's start at the beginning, because this was a journey.
Anyway, today we went on a little tiny adventure we're calling the Matcha vs. Coffee Duel of Destiny.
Basically, we went to 2 cafes, back to back, and judged them, like we were on a caffeinated episode of Top Chef.
Both places were experiences. One gave European artsy cousins studying abroad, and the other gave everyone in town suddenly decided to meet here today for no reason.
We've got opinions, we've got notes, we've got emotional support beverages. Let's get into it.
Okay, so today we're comparing Illy on 45 Spring Street, Princeton, New Jersey, 08420, and Small World Coffee at 14 Witherspoon Street, Princeton, New Jersey, 08540. Matcha vs. matcha, coffee vs. coffee, vibes vs. vibes, and straw quality versus literally non-existent straws.
Fun fact, there's actually another Small World in Princeton down on Nassau Street.
Keep that in mind as you hear about this one.
Grab a snack, grab a drink, preferably warm because of the chilly weather. Especially because one of these places, we were basically sitting in the Arctic tundra.
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay, first stop, Illy. And let me just say, this place is tiny. Like, genuinely tiny. Like, blink twice and you're outside again.
The very first thing that we noticed was the smell.
Cigars.
Cigars everywhere, like a whole case of them for sale.
The vibe was very, I studied abroad in Rome once, and now I only drink espresso.
And honestly, it was kind of cool. The merch, the packaging, the layout, all very chic, very curated, very I own a leather-bound notebook.
But the space was so cramped that if you breathe too hard, you bump into a table.
And all of the tables were taken. All of them. Not one available for the both of us to sit at. Not even a tiny corner.
We were like, where do we go now?
Spoiler, we went outside. In the cold. The freezing cold.
Sitting outside on that day was not on my agenda.
Especially with ice drinks and almost freezing windy weather.
But to give Illy credit, the place was clean. Like, spotless. Napkins stocked, drink holders ready, everything looked intentional and aesthetically pleasing. Especially the glass jar with the straws. More on those later.
And despite only one barista behind the counter, plus one mysterious figure working in the back, our drinks came out super fast. Honestly impressive. I'm pretty sure that it was the fastest I've ever seen my drink made. So if you're in a rush, this is the spot for you. So I ordered the apple pie matcha, one of their many seasonal drinks, and let me tell you,
it was literally a dessert, like a full-on pie.
Yeah, it was sweet. It tasted like matcha who decided to take a personal day and let apple pie take over. Probably the sweetest matcha I've ever had.
Gwen's matcha was giving apple pie chai, an identity crisis. Real cinnamon and spice moment, though.
Yes, actual apple pieces and spice notes, so they put in the effort, but it felt like a matcha dressed up for Halloween as a pie.
Which could be good in a dimmed-down way.
Yeah, it was sweet, really sweet. It lived up to the name in a sense that it tasted like its title, but maybe too literally. Like, I felt like there should have been crumble on top.
Mine was a dark chocolate coffee situation. A cafe mocha with whipped cream. And when I say mocha chocolate, I mean dark chocolate. Like 89% cacao.
She took one sip and literally made the face.
It was so good.
Oh, and the straws?
The paper straws.
Paper straws. Listen, we support the planet. We do. But these paper straws were so hard to figure out. So difficult to put in the drink lids. Nearly impossible. A puzzle game. I felt humbled.
Guys, these were no ordinary terrible paper straws. These were struggles. These straws were like, I will not go into this lid, don't even think about it.
2 girls versus 2 paper straws, and the straws won, and there was a huge mess.
Yes.
Yep, a lot of napkins were involved. Also, Illy is kind of expensive. Not shocking because it was kind of fancy, but still. My seasonal drink was like, am I buying an actual apple pie?
But they did have pastries. Cute pastries. Pastries that looked like they belonged on a Pinterest board.
And those cigars. The whole cigar wall.
It was giving coffee bar, but also Bonneville and starter pack.
I love the vibe, honestly, just not the cold, or the paper straws, or the matcha pretending to be pie.
The clientele was so cool, though. Like, everyone looked expensive and had mysterious chic vibes.
Final rating, an 8 out of 10. The seating and straws really got us. Next, we walked to Small World, which was just around the corner, a 2-minute walk. And when I say everyone was there,
everyone. Literally everyone. It was like people were handing out free money.
This place is huge, so much seating, but you know how many seats were available?
0.
The entire population of the town decided to squeeze into Small World that day.
The noise, loud. The people, everywhere. The vibes, chaotic, but kind of cozy if you got a seat.
It definitely felt like more of a community hangout. Art on the walls, people studying, music playing.
These people weren't just studying, they were geniuses.
I think I learned so much by just walking into the cafe.
But for studying, I would fail all my classes. My brain was like, too many humans, abort mission.
Really warm and inviting, cozy, though just busy. So I got a hot matcha with caramel syrup, and guys,
it was good.
Like, shockingly good. I couldn't even taste the caramel that much, but the matcha was smooth, creamy, cozy, everything. I had never had a hot matcha before because I prefer ice, but I think it changed my mind about having them warm.
And she got it to stay, so it came in the cutest glass mug with a little handle. Adorable.
Yes, but it was also expensive for like half a mug. I sipped it and it was basically gone.
I got a latte, and I was not a fan because it had no sweetener, which I didn't really think about adding. And it didn't come with a lid. Questionable. Vaguely chaotic, like the cafe. They weren't sure if they wanted to commit to sealing the drink or not.
I actually thought it tasted good.
Okay, but you also like matcha, so maybe your taste buds are just adventurous. I'm pretty sure that you will like anything put in front of you with a straw.
Fair, but the matcha here definitely beats Illy's.
Small World did not have straws, though. Like, at all.
At least Illy tried. Even if their straws are basically cardboard swords we could physically battle. Here, we had nothing.
The drink-making process was also more dramatic. You can literally watch them make your drink like it's a cooking show.
Yes, that was exciting, and I knew exactly what was put into my drink, which I like.
So it was like farm to table, but counter to cup.
Lots of workers, too. Like an entire squad, but it was still crowded.
There were about 6 people behind the counter, and the main boss taking the orders was shouting instructions for the drinks.
I feel like it was a military battle between how many orders there were and how much time there was to make them. They also had pastries, sweets, and cute treats.
And music playing, and apparently live performance started at 7.
On Saturdays.
Like, okay, community center.
That is really cool and might be fun to check out, especially if our International Thespian Society, ITS, here at Stuart comes to watch for a field trip.
Love that for them. If I wanted to, I could use my musical talent and perform there.
You'd probably sing something from, like, Tangled.
Yes, but I'd make it mysterious and soulful, so people would think I'm deep, because that was the vibe everyone was giving.
Everyone at Small World was mysterious. Maybe we're just super normal.
Anyway, Small World is great for hanging out, vibing, and existing.
It's perfect for deep conversations with people who you just met.
Not great for quiet homework unless you enjoy chaos, though.
Final rating, about a 7 out of 10, because it was crowded and noisy, just not our aesthetic.
Okay, so let's compare.
For the matcha, Small World wins. Illy's matcha was basically a dessert. I would not really recommend it if you are a fan of overly sweet things.
For the coffee, I think Illy wins. Small World's was too plain for me.
Especially because you didn't have any sweetener in it. Concerning the speed and how fast our drinks came, Illy wins hard. Our barista was basically the Flash. Small World wasn't really that slow, but the line was super long. One person was even at the door, it was that long.
Small World theoretically has more seats, but none of them were free. Illy has fewer seats. And also none of them were free.
For the ambiance, Illy's was classy, chic, and like, I own a turtleneck.
Small World was warm, chaotic. It was giving, I have a tote bag with enamel pins. Please ask me about them and we'll become best friends.
Now, on to prices. Both are pretty steep compared to chain stores like Starbucks, but Small World was probably the cheaper route when looking for a financial possibility. Alright, now let's do some fun questions about what we thought about each of the cafes. What was your immediate thought the first second that we walked into Illy?
When I walked into Illy, my attention was kind of drawn by the cigars because I wasn't expecting it at a coffee shop.
Yeah, that was odd.
Yeah, but but it kind of made sense in, like, the aesthetic of the whole cafe.
Yeah, I don't really know who would buy them because I know there's other cigar shops in town, so it was just, like, really weird and unexpected.
It was
for a cafe.
It didn't seem like a reason to have it, but, like, and it didn't look like anybody has bought any. Like, it was stocked.
Yeah, I don't know, but okay, what about Small World?
Small World, I was not really surprised at how crowded it was, but, like, I was still kind of surprised. And a lot of people were very tall.
Yeah, we'll get more on that later. I was surprised because, like, there's another, like, branch of it in town, and I felt like everyone came to this one.
I know, and it's so close, too.
I know, they're really close together, so I thought that was odd. Okay, next question.
Okay, what would you rename Illy if you owned it?
Because of the vibes that it was giving, I would probably rename it Italian Getaway. It just had, like, super European vibes, and
I know, it was the cigars, I know.
It was the cigars, yeah. And, like, the espresso smell, it, like, mixed with them, that just, like, made it feel like Europe. And then for Small World, this is pretty silly, but I think I would name it Big World, because it was, like, a really big place, and the seating just kept going, and it was just small in no way. Like, in no way was it small. Alright, next, what was the funniest thing that we saw?
I would have to say how tall people were. They were just, like, taller.
Maybe we were just extra short, but there were, like, a lot of tall adults in there, and they kind of felt like giants in a way.
What about you, Gwen?
The funniest thing that we saw was probably when we sat down, the guy next to us was doing, like, really hard homework or, like, math or studying, and I'm pretty sure that we were, like, super distracting sitting next to him, but I just don't know how he was getting work done. It was so loud and, like, noisy and, like, bustly around there, and, like, I don't know how he was focusing. Okay, what random detail are you weirdly obsessed with about Illy?
I liked the, setup outside. I think it was, like, very, like, to their theme, like, if it were, like, European. I think the chairs outside, they were, like, red and patterned, and I think they were
cute,
very...
but it was really cold out. Maybe
it was cold.
Like, in the summertime, it would probably be cuter with, like, an ice cup, but I don't know. For me, I think the seats inside of Illy were super cute. We weren't able to sit in them because it was so crowded, but maybe we'll go back again and sit in them. Okay. Who do you think this cafe was designed for either Illy or Small World?
I think Illy was designed more for adults, especially with the cigars inside and, like, the seating arrangements, and I didn't see many, like, kids or teens.
Yeah, we were, like, the only ones, I think, who were, like, high school age. It was mainly, like, people getting stuff done in quiet.
Yeah.
And then for Small World, I think that, like, college students were the ones who were there. Okay. And then, would you rather try this drink again or get something totally random next time?
I would probably have the same drink at Illy because I really liked it, but at Small World, I would probably get something random, like somebody's favorite drink.
I think mine's the opposite. I think at Illy, I would get something different because mine was just way too sweet, but then at Small World, mine was great, and I definitely order that again.
Great.
Okay, on to our final thoughts. Both places have strengths and both have weaknesses. Both have matcha and coffee experiences that we'll remember for very different reasons.
Both places cute. Both were worth trying. We froze outside, we braved huge crowds, we analyzed paper straws, or the lack of them in some cases, and we tasted lattes that changed us.
But at the end of the day, we'd go back to both. Maybe just a plan on when to go.
A plan that includes checking the weather before we commit to an outdoor seating.
And maybe bringing our own straws. One of these is for quiet girls wearing wool coats who want to be left alone, and one is for fun, chaotic girlies wearing oversized hoodies who are ready to socialize and make new friends.
Both are perfect, depending on your mood or how you're feeling that day.
Just maybe bring your own straw.
And check the weather in case you end up in outdoor exile like us.
Anyway, that's our cafe review adventure.
Alright, that wraps up today's episode of Sips and Trips. If you enjoyed this caffeinated chaos, make sure to tune in for our next adventure.
Thanks for listening. Stay warm, stay hydrated, and may all of your matchas taste like matcha and not pie.
Join us next time for our new adventure.
Bye!